It is a great day to be alive in Pittsburgh, PA, or in beautiful downtown Indianapolis, where Kaboom is stationed. Look at that fancy hotel room he's at for the scouting combine out in Indy. They got murals on the wall. Look at that. Only the best places for you.
Yeah. It's just I just set up a good, I don't even know what it is. Nothing like the Courtyard Marriott, baby.
Yeah. Good morning, friends, Yinzers, countrymen. As you can see, as I just mentioned, Kaboom is in Indianapolis, and the scouting combine is going on. Omar Khan talked the other day, and we'll dig into some of what he had to say in a little more detail than we did the other day, because Kaboom wrote a really nice column article doing just that, reading between the lines on everything Omar had to say. Make sure you follow us on all your social media, X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and of course, subscribe on YouTube at Kaboly+Mack. We appreciate Yins for supporting the program. A good friend of the program, our guy, Baldwin's finest, Kevin Gorman, will join us in just a little bit to talk about Paul Skenes, Konnor Griffin dropping nukes in spring training, and plenty more about the Buccos as spring training is officially underway. But let's start with this, Kaboom.
Can we start with this?
Oh, you went to the Pacers game the other night. Why'd you sit all the way up in the nosebleeds?
Because they were $6. Yeah. What a depressing. I thought PNC Park would be in August and September was depressing. That's be really depressing because they were like 2 periods away from winning the NBA title last year, and this year it's a bunch of goofy white guys, 7-foot centers who I've never heard of before. So it's a nice atmosphere. It's NBA basketball, but I don't think the Pacers are trying to win. When you they did get fined for it, I do believe, didn't they?
They did. They got fined $100,000 for tanking. Because they're Halliburton-less this year.
Siakam was out, and TJ had a bum hamstring. By the way, Saturday night, Thomas Jefferson versus Chartiers Valley for the WPIAL Class A boy 5A.
5A, yeah.
The girls are there too. The girls are there too.
Yeah, the girls are playing. Who are the girls playing? South Fayette? Do I have that right? Yeah.
So we'll do me versus Christian Kuntz, and on the girls' side, it could be you versus Doran.
Okay. However you want to arrange that, that's fine. We'll have bets. That would be nice. A little TJ double. It'd be like Team USA going double gold in Milan. TJ going
double gold,
double WPIAL titles in hoops. That would be nice.
The fighting TJ McConnells. But yeah, did you see that catch I made?
No, I missed it. Was this better? This has to be better than your whiff at Banana Ball last summer.
Yeah, honestly, I dropped it, so no, it was worse.
Oh my God!
They shot one of those damn cannon up into the upper deck. It was really high, right? You would never think it was reaching there. It was like boom. I'm like, oh my goodness, it's coming towards me.
Coming right at me.
Mind you, there's like literally nobody around me. And I'm like, oh, it's carrying. I'm going to get it. And I reached my left hand and dropped it.
Oh, my God.
Well, I picked it up. I got it. But that thing was like a freaking cannonball. And, of course, like Hathorne was taping it at the time.
That's perfect. I didn't see it yet. Now I have to go watch.
I dropped it.
Good job by you. I wanted to start with this. There was you know who Andrew Marchand is, right?
Yeah.
Covers sports business for, I don't know who is he. I think he's with The Athletic now. I can't keep track of who works for who anymore. But he's got 3 different names attached to the Steelers, maybe in the running for Tony Dungy's gig on Sunday nights on NBC.
Ooh, who would that be?
Well, one's obvious, Mike Tomlin. One name attached to the Steelers. Another one, not totally surprising if he decides to retire, even though it doesn't feel like he's headed that way. Cam Hayward. Okay, we could definitely see Cam doing TV after he's done, right?
Okay, yeah.
And a third one, a wild card he called him. Aaron Rodgers. There's no way I see Aaron Rodgers doing TV after he's done.
No. I think he's just trying to jump on the Aaron bandwagon of you mentioned his name and it becomes news in the news cycle for 48 hours or so. They still talking about him going to Minnesota?
Oh yeah, that was all over your sports talk panel shows this morning on ESPN.
Yeah, it was like that yesterday too. And I mean, I don't know what I can tell you what he's thinking, but I'm pretty doggone sure that the Steelers believe it's a very, very good chance he signs with them or he retires, period.
Okay.
Now, that's what they believe. I don't know what Aaron believes. I find it.
Nobody does.
I find it difficult to think that he would go to Minnesota. Does he want to go to Minnesota just to win a championship? Because you can sit there and make that argument they have a better opportunity in Minnesota. Or do you just want to go and, like you did last year, have fun, have a chance, play with some of your old coach, some of the friends you've made there so you don't have to uproot everything you did from last year? Or do you just say, see ya?
Well, my thinking would be, and I'm not similar to Aaron Rodgers in many ways, but my thinking would be if I'm going to play one more year, it sure as hell better be for a shot at a ring. Mm-hmm. And the better shot at a ring would be Minnesota. It just would be.
Is it? Or is he
better options to throw to, definitely.
Or is he waiting to see what maybe happens in free agency? Or free agency and or acquiring a wide receiver of note. Maybe he's like, okay, I'm interested. Let's see what you can add for me first. You're going to bring back Gainwell? You're going to get me a stud number 2 receiver?
Mm-hmm.
Once again, this is my speculation, my reading between the lines here. Maybe that's what's holding him back of not making it. And that's why you hear a lot of talk of, mid-March. Let's see how that roster fills out because we know darn well, it's not a drop-dead deadline of free agency, right? Because there's nobody in free agency that you would either A, want, or B, could, or any
good. Quarterback-wise.
Yeah, right? Quarterback-wise, yeah, right?
All right.
So apparently, talking around out here is that San Francisco probably are going to move Mac Jones.
Okay.
But I think he might get a lot of takers.
So yeah,
because everybody thinks he's Sam Darnold, right?
Well, I think it's not. There's two things coming together to overheat the market on someone like Mac Jones. In this case, the trade market, the trade value, and that's one, what Sam Darnold did last year, obviously, and then two, the fact that, like you said, the free agency class is underwhelming is a nice way to put it. Crap would be another way to put it. And then the draft isn't all that great either, right? Mendoza's going to go off the board first, and then everybody's trying to figure out if all these guys that are going to throw on Saturday are actually worth a shit.
Yeah, probably why they're pushing Will Howard so hard, right? I don't know if they're pushing Will Howard because they really like him, if it's a different regime that goes about it a different way, because Tomlin would have never said anything positive about Will Howard at this setting or at this time of the year. Or they're just waiting if everything falls through. They're like, I'm telling you, man, we've always loved Will Howard. So,
well, yeah, they're not going to come out and say bad things about Will Howard. I think,
but it's brought up in every single circumstance that Omar or McCarthy's talked so far. Everyone, Will Howard, every time.
You made that point in the column that you wrote last night, early this morning. When did you actually post this thing? Was it last night? Yeah, I guess it was last night.
Yeah, probably afternoon.
So you made that point. But let me ask you this. How often has Omar brought up Will Howard unsolicited?
A lot.
So even if the question isn't about quarterbacks or Will Howard specifically, he's still bringing up Will Howard.
Yeah, it's always like, yeah, we'll see. We really like Will Howard. That's why at Khan's press conference with the local guys. I finally, because I heard McCarthy on the Wisconsin thing, their Wisconsin radio. He brought up, I can't wait to work with Aaron and Will. I said, hey, is Mason even in the
You remember this Mason Rudolph guy?
I'm like, is Mason even in? Because the only reason why I ask is because he's not mentioned at all. And it's like, well, what's going on here? But of course, he said, we love Mason, blah, 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 blah. But they don't go out of their way to say, boy, hey, Mason, he's a solid guy. We can have it in there for a couple. They just don't say it. They don't even mention him.
So perform your reading between the lines exercise then on the quarterback room. Is it still going to be those three dudes? The same. Yep. Exactly the same as last year.
And they'll bring in a camp arm. Maybe they'll have a seventh.
What are you snacking on there?
Peanuts.
Peanuts. Okay.
Breakfast
of champions.
Peanuts go in the same way they come out.
Man. You mean they come out the same way they go in?
What'd I say?
You had it backwards.
All right. I'm done eating peanuts. I don't like
Okay. You didn't have breakfast at the big meeting you were at this morning?
I was too nervous.
Nervous? Was it that big a meeting?
Just meeting up with some old buddies.
Okay. Did you get any dirt on anything at least?
No.
Man. What happened to the savvy old news hound from the Mon Valley days who dig up dirt at every turn?
You can pick up dirt. But some things are worth repeating. Other stuff is not.
Oh, so you heard some things.
Maybe some background.
Oh, some background. Okay. You tuck that away in the notebook. Mascot Troy on YouTube. Is this the actual Mascot Troy, you wonder?
I hope so.
I hope so, too. He says, I wish the Will Howard talk would stop already. His ceiling is Trubisky, and his likely arc is that of Landry Jones.
Wow. I can
Mascot
tell you
Troy not high on Will Howard.
I'm sure it's not Johnny the Barber.
Why?
Because he loves Ohio State.
Yeah, you never know. People log in under different names. They say things. Thanks to Arch. We appreciate his support of the program. Get down to Archie's anytime, maybe tonight for a hockey game. It's a hockey night in Pittsburgh. Archie's on Carson, Pittsburgh's best place for food, drinks, and sports. 80-cent wings Monday through Thursday nights. Yes, that includes tonight as the Pens welcome Jack Hughes and the New Jersey Devils to town without Sidney Crosby in the lineup for the next 4 weeks. Plus, great sandwiches, great burgers, flatbread pizzas. The fries are incredible. Anything you want, the menu is awesome. Plus, they always got ice-cold iron, IC Light, and mango on draft, too. It's just about mango season, Kaboom. Just about.
I tried to get a mango here last night, and they're like, no, we don't have that. I mean, it wasn't IC Light mango, it was some other mango.
Oh,
mango
well, if it's not IC Light mango, I don't think I'm interested.
That's the only
mango I'm partaking.
I ended up going with like Corona. That was a mistake.
Really?
Corona in a can, even worse.
Oh, no. What's the point? It's got to be in the bottle with the lime. Otherwise, what are you doing? So get to Archie's. Check out some hockey, some college hoops. We may be down there soon. Speaking of college hoops, we're going to try and get down there for a show, maybe during the first weekend of the NCAA tournament. Got to finalize things with Arch. Got to talk to him a little bit. You read between the lines on like a dozen different items.
Maybe you know what? Maybe I should call that it. Maybe I should have a gimmick.
You should.
Story. Just say read between the lines, and I just write something. This might be like every week or something.
Yeah, I think it should be a recurring bit now. Okay. I think you should go with it. We talked about the quarterbacks, Rodgers, Howard, Rudolph. But the next guy you mentioned, we talked about this a little bit the other day, Darnell Washington.
Darnell.
And Omar Khan said, I'd take 20 Darnells.
He needs one.
Well, yeah, it's not an Arthur Smith offense anymore, so you don't need 20 tight ends. Probably 2 is good. I don't know what the future holds for Jonnu Smith, but I'm doubtful it's here in Pittsburgh. But the other guy, another guy that you mentioned, was Pat Freiermuth, What is read between the lines on what Omar had to say about the tight ends, Pat and Darnell, and how these. I mean, it sounds like he wants both of them as a part of it going forward.
Yeah, I mean, Darnell will be entering his final year of his contract. What, this year?
Yeah.
So they'll have to sign him before the season starts or risk losing him next year because he'd become an unrestricted free agent and he can sign wherever he wants. So I would imagine he would get signed, anywhere between May and September, right?
Okay.
And it looks like, you're looking $8 million a year, I'm guessing 24, 20, 25, whatever it is. I mean, you look at his stats, and those are not, the market value doesn't equal up with the stats, but Darnell does a million other things that make him worth it. That's why I was curious of the market value with him. He's basically had 3/4 of a season. The first two were pretty much garbage. He got hurt, and he didn't put up tons of numbers, but he took that next step. You could tell he was going to be very, very good. Where does that land with his market value? And plus, you have a change in the offense, scheme-wise, but they love him. As for Freiermuth, it seems like to me, I don't think he was taking any shots at Arthur Smith. He's not going to do that. But the way I look at it is maybe Arthur wanted Pat Freiermuth to be a better blocker than he was. That's the way I looked at it. And maybe that prevented him to get on the field as more than he was, which, I mean, can't you scheme around that if that's the case?
Yeah, I don't. So it's twofold here. One, with Darnell, I still feel like they've really only scratched the surface of what they can do with that guy. Like you said, it was basically 3/4, 80% of a season, and they didn't have him available when they probably could have used him the most down the stretch and in the playoff game against Houston. So, and Pat, look, it's inexplicable to me why he wasn't used more. Like, you can tell me about blocking all you want. You can tell me about this, that, and the other thing. Line the guy up in the slot. Like, when everybody gets hurt and you're bringing in Valdez-Scantling and Thielen and all that, line Pat up in the slot as a wide receiver. Like, you're trying to tell me, I'm not asking him to run go balls the whole time, but like, you're telling me he can't run routes out of the slot. So you're right. Omar's not going to do it, but I put that all on Arthur Smith.
Yeah, I mean, but his philosophy very well could have been one way. And I mean, why doesn't somebody step in? Why doesn't the head coach step in? I don't know. Did Aaron try to step in? I don't know. But that's the feeling I read in between the lines, right? That's why he might not have been on the field as much as he probably should have been. And you're right. I mean, you can move him around, put him in different situations where he doesn't need to always block. But as for Darnell, you think about it, McCarthy's Green Bay Packer tight ends, some big dudes there that he knew how to use too. So it's not like, okay, the Arthur Smith offense found something with him. It's not like McCarthy can't either, because he's had history with some good, big, and talented tight ends.
Yeah, one of the first things Aaron did when he got here was compare the tight end room to some of the tight end rooms he had in Green Bay, which were really good and
Mark
really
Shimura.
talented. Mark Shimura. Thanks to Bernard Dixon. How about this? Dropping a little change in the tip jar there. Bernard,
I don't even know what the hell that means. What's that mean?
It means he just gave us $5.
Really?
What do you think of that? Huh?
Oh, it sounds like a beer to me.
Sounds like it to me. Especially, I mean, down at Archie.
My question with his question is, what god darn quarterback wants to get hit?
Yeah. So Bernard commented on YouTube. He mistyped, a little typo there. He said Beeger McFarland, which I may start calling Booger McFarland Beeger now. Said the Steelers should move on from Rodgers because he's old and doesn't want to get hit. To your point, yeah, what quarterback wants to get hit? I do think so when he was in the middle of the season, when he didn't look nearly as confident in the offensive line, I do think Rodgers looked more than happy to get rid of the ball very quickly. And was maybe going out of his way to do so sometimes. Maybe that was the fact that they just didn't have any routes open downfield. The receivers weren't getting open, whatever. But this is another, and I don't want to turn it into a bash Arthur Smith show, but it's another thing I didn't like in last year's offense is how often did you see them do something that Rodgers is really good at, which is a really good play fake, turn your back to the line of scrimmage for a second, and then roll just a little bit. I'm not asking them to sprint to the sidelines full speed, but roll just a little bit to get away from the pressure. And that just wasn't a part of the system last year.
Yeah, occasionally it was. But if you didn't have a lot of confidence in that offensive line, it did struggle early on. You're not wanting to turn your back to them, to anybody. I'm quite sure that I think near Ben's end of his career, he didn't want to turn his back to any defender as well. But yeah, that's something you could definitely probably do more of. And I mean, there's a lot of good quarterbacks in this league that can't move or rarely move. I mean, Rodgers, I think, moved fine enough to be a solid quarterback. I mean, you saw him run for a touchdown. You see him get out of the way of pass rushing. Is he going to go for 80 yards and a touchdown like Drake May or Lamar? No. But I don't think you really need that as well. You got that offensive line has another year. And that's, I mean, a lot of people's narratives, national people narratives I see is Steelers need to blow it up. Their offensive line stinks. Blah, da, 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 da. Man, if you're just starting to tell me that their offensive line stinks, you just aren't watching the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, the right side of the line is the right side of the line is good, and I think getting better. We've talked plenty about Zach Frazier at center, very good, getting better. The left side has some question marks, obviously, because we don't know what the deal is with Broderick Jones. Don't know if they're comfortable enough letting Dylan Cook just take over. And left guard is Seumalo, who's a free agent. Doesn't sound like he's going to be back.
I mean, I'm reading between the lines.
Right.
It didn't seem like they were going to want to bring him back just for the fact that, what is he, 30, whatever. He didn't miss any games last year, I don't think, or maybe he missed one. But it seems like he's on that brink of really falling off that injury cliff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Good, boom. And I don't know if they want to invest any long-term money in him. I could see him still playing somewhere, but I don't think that.
My thought would be that if they let Seumalo walk because somebody's going to pay him and they're not, the injury concerns have them worried. He's getting older, all that. And Omar mentioned Spencer Anderson. It wasn't the most resounding vote of confidence. It was, he played some. We're excited about him. So they plug in Spencer Anderson for a year and maybe get a guard in the draft in the middle rounds. And maybe that's the next guy if Spencer Anderson doesn't pan out. That would be my thought at left guard. Left tackle is a whole other issue, like I said, between Broderick Jones and Dylan Cook, and who knows, maybe another rookie.
You could just go grab one of those 106 Cleveland Brown offensive linemen on the free agency market, too.
It's hilarious to me that their entire offensive line are free agents.
I'd take Wyatt Teller in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Plug him in right there.
The Browns' offensive line wasn't terrible last year. It wasn't as good as it has been, but it wasn't terrible. The problem was Shedeur ran around like a chicken with his head cut off and got sacked way too many times.
Hey, you're in a good spot with Dylan Cook. At least you know he could play. Is he a long-term answer? I don't know. Probably not. Maybe not. Who knows? But at least you know he's not going to get overwhelmed. So if you can't find anybody, you're not. Even if you draft somebody, you probably wouldn't be ready for year one anyways. So you always bring some people in. But somebody mentioned two things here. Our buddy Scott Castro said about Gainwell. Yeah, they want Gainwell back. The question is are they going to pay him to say, yeah, I'm coming back? The guy's made less than $5 million over his career. And now he can get potentially $8 million per year and over a 3-year deal with a chunk of that potentially guaranteed, like Javonte Williams. And the Steelers say, no, your market value is here for us. I'm going where the money is. So I think if they
Yeah.
give him a fair market value and somebody else doesn't want to overpay, I think he'll be back. But it's not their choice anymore. Gainwell goes where he probably gets paid.
The problem at running back is there are probably 3 or 4 guys that might be as attractive as Gainwell, if not more so, if you're looking for a running back. I don't know what the deal will be with Breece Hall in New York, if
Didn't
they'll
they
tag
tag him?
him.
I thought
Did
they
they
tagged
already announce a tag? Maybe.
I don't think they announced it, but I think it's the thought.
Kenneth Walker III in Seattle, and then you got ETN in Jacksonville, and even Rico Dowdle in Carolina. All guys that I think are at Kenny G's level, if not better. So it's a little crowded on the running back market, a position where people don't usually pay a ton of money anyway. Like, I don't think you have to pay Gainwell more than what, 6 or 7 million to keep him around per year.
Okay, if Steelers offer him 6 for 18,
3 years. Yeah.
7 guaranteed, but somebody else offers him Javonte Williams number 8 for 24, he's not staying.
Nobody's going to give him Javonte Williams money, though.
There's a ton of money just floating out there, man. You see that salary cap?
Okay, so with that being said, you can afford. Okay, so if that's the case, I hear what you're saying. The cap grows exponentially every year, and there's more and more money to throw around. Then you can go to $8 million a year on Gainwell if you want to.
Or maybe just think Caleb Johnson's going to be that guy.
Yeah, reading between the lines, it didn't sound promising for him.
Yeah, once again, there's not much difference between Will Howard and Caleb Johnson's stats from last year. They both
bunch of zeros.
But one's like, well, we'll see. He was disappointing. The other one's, yeah, we love him. I mean, I like Will Howard too, but I need to see it a little bit before making him my starter or my quarterback of the future. What I do believe is going to happen with quarterback is I think Aaron comes back. I think they're going to draft one next year. They might move some picks around, have a better opportunity to move up and get somebody next year where there could be 5, 6 in the first round. Then have Will Howard as the bridge to the bridge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get
next
that.
year to get to, because you don't want to start a rookie probably. So
here's and understand the quarterbacks haven't worked out yet. Like they work out on Saturday, I think.
Yeah, I think they talk tomorrow and they work made for TV Saturday night.
Yeah, so
aren't throwing right.
What's the like? Do you get any kind of vibe about whether they actually have any level of interest in this year's quarterbacks? Like if somebody went out there and put on a show during the workouts or had a great like over the moon kind of interview this week, would they look at somebody and be like, okay, well, that was a 4th or 5th round guy, but we got 3 third-round picks. We may roll the dice on this guy in the top 100.
I think they make evaluations before they get here, and they just sit there and say, okay, are we confirming that our evaluation is correct here? I think a lot would have to happen for them to change their minds off of what they saw last year in, what was it, the 12 games Simpson played and the last 6 that were that they would change their mind. I mean, I don't think they would be interested in that. I mean, Omar jumped at the opportunity of saying, yeah, we'll move back. We can move picks back to next year. Yeah, because, 6, 7 quarterbacks potentially could be coming out. But you still run the risk of like this year. There's supposed to be 5 or 6 coming out this year that were good, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem is you can never predict the quarterback future, really.
You can never predict any quarterback, but everybody wants him to tank and go get Drake May. How about they tank and go get what's that jamoke from who was it? I forget who it was now.
Good job.
I was going to do Josh Rosen because he's my fallback guy, but what?
Why is Josh Rosen your fallback guy for?
Because he's always in that. He was in that 9 to 10 spot.
People.
He was in that 9 to 10 spot, and he was first rounder, and I don't even think you've ever played. So what I'm saying is, you're not going to get that. There's no guarantee you're going to get a quarterback if you tank. I mean, just talk to the Cleveland Browns. They've tanked for 35 straight years and had tons of salary cap. And where are they at right now? No quarterback,
Well,
no future, no anything. So tanking doesn't work. Uh-oh. Hey,
whoa,
what's
what
up, Mac?
happened there? Look at
Double
that.
Mac.
I doubled it up.
What in the world are you doing?
Well, see what happened was I was trying to get the link to send to Gormy. And
are you just going to be staring at us like this? There you go.
no, yeah, what happened there?
Boy, we need
Now
some
it's stuck in the middle. What's that?
Well,
It's just stuck, isn't it?
I'm glad you're not in your underwear like you normally are.
You can't tell if I'm in my underwear or not.
I hate these peanuts, but I keep eating them. I got to get rid of them. I hate them.
Then put them away.
Just like chips. I hate chips. Hate chips. I'm like, oh, I'll eat some chips. Then I eat the chips, and I'll be like, why do I eat these chips? I hate chips.
Why is it not going away? See, this is why we need
some help.
Some help. There we go. All right, it's gone. I fixed
Where's
it.
Gormy at?
He's going to be jumping on any second here to talk Skenes and Konnor
peanuts.
Griffin. Other guy we didn't know. Two other guys.
Kroger too.
Kroger. I went down Kroger's and got me some peanuts.
I did get on Kroger's. It was like really. I had to get a Kroger card.
Why'd you have to get the card?
Because everything was like $30 more if you didn't have the Kroger card. Then I did it, and my Kroger card wouldn't work.
Two other guys we didn't mention. Reading between the lines, Jalen Ramsey and Patrick Queen, both back.
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey's guaranteed. I mean, for goodness sakes, when you talk about a guy and the first words out of their mouth is, "Boy, he's versatile." We love him. He's coming back. There ain't no doubt about that. Queen, it was just that one little comment. I don't even know what that meant about. We got to get to know him. He got to get to know us. I'm like, well, what have you been doing for the past 2 years? I assume he meant the new coaching staff, maybe a new role. But I don't see him going anywhere either. I don't think they need to go anywhere. I think they're just going to add. And I think they're going to add a receiver that you're going to say, holy shit, I can't believe the Steelers got this guy.
Like who? Like a trade or a free agent? A.J. Brown? Are you making a hint at an A.J. Brown trade? Is that what you're doing here today?
First of all, I remember interviewing A.J. Brown here 5-6 years ago at the Combine. Very personable guy. I liked him. Matching both Ole Miss guys back together again. I don't think that will happen. I mean, DJ Moore on the blocks, Michael Pittman. They're going to get somebody. Then they're going to draft somebody too. Connor, 1981. I mean, I think you're going to come out of here in about 3-4 weeks, whatever. What is it?
The draft? The draft is like 2 months away still.
You're going to have Metcalf. You're going to have a solid number 2, and you're also going to get a high pick in the wide receivers.
Yeah, we talked about it. All the mock drafts that I studied the other day, Denzel Boston was the most common selection.
I'll make sure not to pick Denzel Boston.
Why not?
Because everybody's picking him.
So you just got to zig when everybody zags. You got to be different. You got to be the contrarian.
Okay.
Is that no? I'm asking a question. You just got to be different.
No, I mean, because everybody cheats off of everybody else. Oh, so they got the Denzel Boston or whatever the hell his name is. So I'll pick him too.
Well, then you need to do a more detailed mock draft.
You think you know, but you don't know, and you never will know. I'm doing my...
Well, whether it's the real mascot Troy or not, he agrees with you.
He said it was his real mascot Troy.
That they should draft the dude from Penn State to replace Sayamalu. Get the O-line in place and then go from there and get your quarterback.
I wouldn't be against that, but Omar said he did say, you know, as I sit here today, I say we're pretty much done in the first round with the interior line, but then I better not say that because you'll never know.
Because nobody knows, like you said, right?
I like the Penn State guard, too. I'm just going to keep calling him Penn State guard.
That's probably better for you, yeah.
More offensive line, the better.
Look at this good-looking human. Look at this. Kevin Gorman.
Flow.
Look at that flow. Look at that lettuce. right down there at Lecom Park, McKechnie Field in Bradenton. Look at this.
Look at
Beautiful.
It's a nice tan.
Yeah, because he's been in Florida for 3 weeks. He
This
should have a nice tan.
This is the Irish equivalent of a tan.
A nice pinkish hue.
We got Pennsylvania, Florida, and Indiana right there, baby.
Yeah, we got a little music in the background, so forgive me for that, but I was trying to get you a nice view of the ballpark from the right field deck.
No, that's good. I like it. Nice and warm down there in Florida today.
It's getting warmer. It's been unseasonably cold here, although I'm not going to complain about a 50 or 60 degree day. But, the last couple of days, the mornings were like 30 degrees, and then it climbed to like mid 60s. But, cool enough that you want to wear a long sleeve shirt, warm enough that I can wear shorts, and sunny enough that I'm not going to complain about either one of them.
All right. O'Connor 1981 in the YouTube chat said you got that Hulk Hogan glow. So if you could bleach the mustache and keep the rest dark, that would fill out the look, I think.
You're talking about my blonde hair?
Yeah, blonde. Yeah. Is everybody losing their mind over Konnor Griffin, or is this kid legit?
He's legit. People are losing their minds, but he's legit. I think they're losing their minds because of how legit he actually is. He looks the part, and you don't want to often judge anything based on spring training in terms of statistics or even sometimes the home runs are Gulf wind aided. But Konnor Griffin's different, and I think everybody here acknowledges it. It's not just the ball writers; it's the players saying, hey, this kid's special. And seeing that he's 6'4", 225 pounds, that he runs like a deer, that he hits with power, that he hits for average, that he can field, he can throw, he can play shortstop or center field, and they have him at shortstop. He looks like a generational talent. Even better, he carries himself like one. This is a kid who's very humble, but also very confident. He's talked about wanting to have a Hall of Fame career at age 19 years old. And I've said this multiple times, but he reminds you physically of A-Rod at 19 years old with his stature. He reminds you of the style of play a bit of Bobby Witt, with kind of a guy who plays with his hair on fire. But I say this, and I say this without a trace of irony here, that the man just passed and he's one of the Pirates' icons, but he carries himself with a bit of the humble attitude of a Bill Mazeroski, that he's a guy who appreciates everything that's happening to him and understands that, that he's a special talent, but also is polite and friendly and gracious with his time and his energy. And that eventually will change if he gets pulled in too many directions at once. But it is a breath of fresh air to be around a 19-year-old kid who knows that he has stardom written all over it, and it hasn't changed him one bit.
Now, Gorman, you worry me when you're mentioning him with the names of guys like Maz and A-Rod, just for the fact that he is 19. I mean, I don't know how he's still going to be a very impressionable kid. When he gets thrown these labels, you're the next this, that, and another, could that have an effect on him? Or do people need to, hey, let this kid play, let this kid develop. Don't be saying he's the next Roberto Clemente or Mike Trout. Let the kid play.
Well, long before he showed up to Bradenton, he was already being compared to Trout and Bryce Harper in terms of guys who could be impact players as teenagers in the major leagues. Now, he will turn 20 on April 24th, so his time as a major leaguer, if he makes the opening day roster, and that's a big if, will be very brief as a teenager. But in terms of the hype, we're past that. I mean, it is no longer in the protective stage. Everybody that has seen him, national writers, national analysts, everybody that's seen him are like, wow, this kid's different. Here's the thing. I think Konnor Griffin has been different his whole life. I think this is a guy who, in eighth and ninth grade was already a superstar level. He's played for Team USA Baseball. He's played, he was a Gatorade National High School Player of the Year as a senior at Jackson Prep in Mississippi. He's a guy who was, even though he was the number 9 overall pick in the Major League Baseball draft in 2024, he was the first prep player taken. And really the only question people had about him was whether he would hit. And he answered that last year by producing a 3-4-5 slash line, meaning 300 plus batting average, 400 plus on base, 500 plus slugging. The kid has embraced the expectations and exceeded the expectations all at once, which has been something that has kind of raised eyebrows all around baseball, to see a guy who is so well hyped come in and outperform what everybody thought that he was capable of doing. And he's done it without letting it get to his head.
So what's the use in having him spend the first month of the season in Indy, Gorman?
Whoa. You mean right down here, Victory Field?
Yeah, you're not going to be there in a few weeks when the Indians start playing. So,
here's the thing. He has all of 98 plate appearances above the Class A level. So his success has been at a lower levels of the minor leagues. He came up and killed the ball at Double-A Altoona, and I was at his debut for the Curve, and he was 19 years old. I think he was 4.5 years younger than the average Double-A ball player, and instead of looking like a boy amongst men, he looked like a man amongst boys. That's physically how much further ahead he was than everybody he was playing against. It was a broken bat single for his first hit, gets on base, second pitch, takes off, steals second base. Next thing you know, he's on third, and there's a contact play at the plate where he should have been dead to rights. Instead, it was a bang-bang play at the plate, which he was thrown out. But it was immediate impact. As soon as he got on the field, you could see that he was different. I think it would be for the Pirates if they decided that they wanted Konnor Griffin to start the season in the minors, it would be so that he could go and dominate a new level and be ready and prepared for the major leagues, as opposed to having him come to the majors and get exposed and having to send him back to the minors and do some corrections with him. I think that's important to the Pirates, is that they understand just how vital he is to their future, and wanting to be careful in his development and making sure that they don't rush him, that they don't expose him and then have to go back in and work on, fixing something that wasn't broken in the first place because it's their fault that they rushed him. I would say this: the game that he played, I believe it was Tuesday in Fort Myers against the Boston Red Sox. He's facing, you might know him as Ranger. Apparently his name is pronounced Ronher Suarez, left-handed pitcher who signed a 5-year, $130 million free agent contract, was a 2024 All-Star for the Philadelphia Phillies. And he hangs a curveball, and Griffin crushes it over the replica green monster.
It sounded like a bomb went off when his bat made contact with the ball.
He hits the ball different. I mean, we saw it in batting practice, although it's off a jugs machine. We saw it in a live batting practice against the AAA pitcher, Nick Domkowski. But to see him do it against an all-star left-hander who threw him a curveball, this isn't okay. He hit a fastball and it was just about timing. This was, an all-star lefty hangs a curveball and he knocks it out of the park. And then he faces a veteran righty, Seth Martinez, and hits one even longer, a 440-foot blast that was 111.2 mile an hour exit velocity. This kid, even his outs and foul balls are being hit over 100 miles an hour. And you can point to O'Neal Cruz and say, hey, that's just an indicator of strength and power. It's not necessarily an indicator of success. But I think the ability to adjust to breaking and off-speed pitches is something that's a little bit different. That this is a guy who, even before we got here, Paul Skenes threw a live batting practice on the Monday before pitchers and catchers reported. And Konnor Griffin struck out on 3 pitches against Skenes. So does a lot of people. I mean, somebody did that in the major leagues for the Braves yesterday, struck out on 3 pitches in the starting lineup for the Braves. That's not unheard of. The difference is that the second time he faced Skenes threw him a slider and he drove it out to left field. That this is a kid who's making adjustments against elite pitching and doing it, from one at bat to the next. It's not going in and studying video and seeing what he did wrong. It's basically recognizing, okay, here's what he did and here's how I'm going to adapt. And the ability to do that at a very high level and to do it without having to, go and work on that in between at bats. That to me is something that has caught the eye, not just of guys like myself, but of Pirates manager Don Kelly. He's talked about the adjustments from one at bat to the next, and how Griffin has a rare ability to do that.
Gormy, Pittsburgh people are on high alert after the Sidney Crosby injury in the Olympics. Now we got another superstar playing some meaningless games, I would guess. What is the role you think Skenes is going to have in the World Baseball Classic? What is the plan for him?
Well, this is what he told us yesterday after he pitched it against the Braves in Northport. He said that he has three games that he's going to pitch. One is going to be in an exhibition game. They play 2 exhibition games next week. I think one against San Francisco, one against Colorado. He's also going to pitch in pool play, which is important because you have to get out of pool play to make it to the championship rounds. So he's going to have one game there, which I think a lot of people expect the Americans to get out of pool play, but it's still vital to perform well there. I can't remember who it was, but somebody good didn't get out of pool play the last WBC. I can't remember if it was the Venezuelans or the Dominicans or something like that. But great teams can get knocked out just because they lose a game they shouldn't have. He also said there's one game in the championship rounds, which was quarterfinals, semifinals, and the final game, that he has one game. He said this has been scripted for months. So he knows who he's pitching against. He won't reveal that, but with Tarek Skubal saying that he's only pitching in one game, and perhaps that he wants to get back to Tigers camp. I have a feeling that Skenes, if the Team USA gets to the gold medal game, Skenes is going to be the guy on the mound. And he even said that if he's not, and he's already pitched, I said, was there a chance that if you had a chance to go in and pitch an inning, let's say the 9th inning against Team Japan, and you're going to face Shohei Ohtani, are you willing to take the ball? And he said, I wouldn't turn it down. So, this is a guy who understands the importance of wearing the American colors, the red, white, and blue. He did it as a 12-year-old on the 12 under national team. He did it on the collegiate national team when he was at Air Force and LSU, and he did it as a cadet, or whatever you call them at Air Force as an undergrad. He wore the flag on his uniform there. So here's a guy who this is ultra important to him. I also think that you could get injured in any game. You could get injured in even a more meaningless spring training game when you're throwing in the high 90s like he does, when you're throwing 6 and 7 pitches like he does. An arm injury could happen. It happened to Jared Jones last year. In this case, this means the world to Paul Skenes to play for his country. And if you know anything about Paul Skenes, the individual accomplishments that he has, and we're talking number 1 overall draft pick, National League Rookie of the Year, Cy Young winner the second year for the National League. Those all pale in comparison to winning championships to Paul Skenes. He won a national championship at LSU, and he wants to win gold for the Americans, and he wants to win a World Series for the Pirates. Those are his priorities. Those are his goals, and anything less than that will be a disappointment to him. So I don't know that the Pirates could have convinced him otherwise.
How does Skenes feel, and how do you think the rest of the squad feels about what they did this offseason?
He feels pretty good about it. I think he feels a sense of commitment that, he and Mitch Keller were 2 guys who put up, I think, a combined 38 quality starts last year. And I think in Skenes' 32 starts, the Pirates were maybe 17 and 15. He was 10 and 10. I think the run support was the biggest issue for a team that, ranked last in home runs and RBIs, slugging, and OPS, the big power numbers. The Pirates just didn't have enough of it, and they went out and acquired it. And Brandon Lau and Ryan O'Hearn and Marcell Ozuna to go with. And I think as important as the acquisitions of those 3 All-Stars are, I think it's going to benefit Brian Reynolds and O'Neal Cruz the most. That those guys are coming off subpar seasons, but they're no longer being required to carry the load and being required to provide all of the power. That there's power 1 through 5 in this lineup, and I think those 2 should be the biggest beneficiaries of it. But Paul Skenes is pumped. The Pirates have a lot of talent in their pitching, a lot of young talent. They have a lot of depth in their starting pitching. They've got a bullpen that's improved. I feel like, Paul said something to the effect of looking around behind him yesterday and seeing the guys who were behind him, and they had a representative lineup for a spring training game yesterday. There's some legitimate guys here. There's some all-stars. The Pirates have 6 or 7 guys, I think 7 guys who have played in the all-star game on their roster now. Skenes is one of them. Gregory Soto's another in the bullpen. And then you have, Mitch Keller, Reynolds returning, and then you've added 3 more with Lau, Ozuna, and O'Hearn. So you've got some legitimate ball players on this team. Now, is that enough to take a 71 team to a 91 win team and win the division? I don't know. I don't know if it's enough to even get into the playoffs. But I do think the Pirates, every year there's people say, oh, there's a different vibe. Every year at spring training, there's kind of that unbridled optimism. Is that, hey, we can go out and compete with anybody. I think this one is backed up by knowing that they have the players to do it.
I think Kaboom froze.
Oh,
there, he's back.
You froze? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, Gorman.
You're back. Go ahead.
Can you hear me? I'm just wondering if Gorman can hear me because he's froze on mine. Gorman, you mentioned about the offensive production. Are they concerned about the potential suspect defensive play of some of this people they've acquired and the defense in general, I guess?
I think they are. I think there's some serious concern about, for one, O'Neal Cruz, whether he's actually going to improve. He lost the ball in the sun yesterday for, I don't know if it was for a double or a triple, but, he's still a work in progress in center field. If you have an outfield of Cruz in center, Ryan O'Hearn in right, and Brian Reynolds in left, it's not a good defensive outfield. Let's just be honest. Brandon Lau's better than his numbers indicated last year. I don't expect him to be a major concern, but, the Pirates could have Jared Triolo, a Gold Glove winner, as a utility player at third base, and I don't think that's going to be too much of a downgrade from Key Brian Hayes. But that means Nick Gonzalez would be your shortstop if Connor Griffin isn't. And I think that's Nick Gonzalez, was fine as a second baseman. I think there's some concerns about his arm and his range at shortstop. I think he can play the position for sure, but the defensively they should be potentially better at first base if O'Hearn's there. I think Henry Davis is fine behind the plate, but Joey Bart isn't great defensively. So they're going to give up a little bit, but I guess that's the trade-off. Do you want to have a team that's fantastic defensively but can't score runs, or do you want to have a team that can score runs but might give up one? If they can outnumber the runs allowed by the runs scored, then you're in good shape. And I think that's the concern for the Pirates. But they do have a couple guys that are promising in the outfield defensively, and Jake Mangum and Joe Stinson Garcia, who are competing for, at the very least, the 4th outfield spot, possibly the starting job in left field. And I still am not convinced that the Pirates roster that we see in training camp here, that it may be their final roster. I could see them swinging a trade or adding a veteran somewhere along the way, whether it's claiming somebody off waivers or what have you. But this still could be a work in progress. But you think back to the days when they had Edward Olivares starting in the outfield. The Pirates have upgraded. You think about some of the guys that they've had starting out there the last couple of years, especially on opening day. I remember, I think it was my first spring training, starting Marte got sick, and their opening day center fielder was J.B. Shuck. They got some legitimate names this time, and I don't think what you're giving up defensively is going to overshadow what you've added offensively.
Gormy, we appreciate you taking the time this morning, man. Go put some sunblock on. Check out BP. And
you see how he doesn't put a hat on because he doesn't want to mess with the hair.
No,
I got my sunglasses on the head right now. I usually, to be honest with you, it is not that windy down here. By the end of the day, my hair is pretty blown out, and so this is about as tame as it gets down here. The hair by the end of the day will be out this big. It's kind of a look.
It's a look. It's a vibe. We appreciate you bringing it to us. Enjoy the rest of spring training, bud. We again, thank you for the time.
Hey, thanks for having me on and not having any compromising basketball videos of me. I appreciate it.
Well, did we do that last time?
We did.
I think you were the guy behind it, Kaboly.
Maybe.
I have a couple of your sleeping videos too. We could have put those.
Yeah, those are even more compromising. But I will say the spin move is still in the repertoire.
Yes, you missed the hope. You missed it. Buzzsaw blocked you or something.
Well, I mean, you can't make everything. All right, Gormy, get out of here.
All right, guys.
We'll talk to you
thanks
soon.
for having me.
Thanks. Kevin Gorman from the Trib, joining us from Bradenton here on Kaboly+Mack. We appreciate him taking the time. And I don't know. Unbridled optimism. I don't know about that, Kaboom, but they can't be as bad as they were last year, right?
I just worry about the Konnor Griffin pressure.
Pressure? It's Pittsburgh. What pressure is there?
Because the freaking every single national writer is comparing him to goddamn. Yeah, I saw somebody, who was it the other day? It might have been just some kind of bullshit on Twitter, but they were like best Pittsburgh athlete, even better than Joe Green or something like that. I'm like, what the hell are we talking about here?
Okay, well that's
what I'm saying.
Ridiculous.
Slow your roll a little bit. Every time he hits a freaking ball that's 125 exit velo, don't like. I can't even say. I won't even say it. Don't get excited.
Don't go from 6 to midnight.
Yes, do not. I mean, just let it irritates the living hell out of me about the Pirates fans. I honestly understand you're looking for some hope and you're just trying to grab onto anything. Let the kid play and develop. Not he's the next this, he's the next this. I mean, you can name about a dozen of them who's the next whatever. From the Pedro Alvarez to Greggy Polancos and go on and on and on and on and on. Let the kid play.
All right. Period. Well, hopefully they let the kid play and bring him up.
Oh, my goodness. He hit the ball 460 feet off a preseason batting practice. Who the hell cares?
Thanks to our good friends at Impact HVAC for supporting the show. We appreciate them, and hopefully we're out of the woods as far as winter is concerned, but we're always good for some kind of cold snap in March, maybe even early April. You want to make sure the furnace is working. Message them on Facebook. They'll check it out if it hasn't been doing what you want it to do at Impact HVAC PGH, or just give them a call at 412-297-1852. We appreciate them supporting the program here on Kaboly+Mack. One more thing I wanted to ask you before I let you run, and you have a very important luncheon to attend. It sounds fancier if I call it a luncheon.
I might actually have to put a coat on, a sport coat or something.
You're not going to do all that, are you?
I might have to. I don't want to be like a bum.
Okay. I mean, I don't think you look like a bum, but anyway.
I'm going to take the Iron City hat off of.
Do you?
I don't think I should wear a freaking shirt and coat and wear an Iron City hat.
I guess. You'll have to clean yourself up a little bit. The slate for all the international games is starting to trickle out, and there's still a chance, some people think, that the Steelers could end up either in London against Jacksonville, Paris against the Saints, or maybe even in Madrid, Spain against, who knows, because they haven't announced anybody for that game yet.
Let's hope not.
I think the same, but honestly, as they continue to grow the number of international games, I feel like the Steelers, being one of the premier brands in the NFL, are probably going to be in line to play an international game almost every year at some point.
The way I look at it, they did the Ireland thing because the Rooneys wanted to go to Ireland. I mean, I don't think maybe. I think that you have to really consider Mexico as number 2 on the list.
Mexico
right now, but
okay, because they already named the Niners as one of the Mexico teams this year, which means the other team can't be the Steelers because they're not scheduled to play each other.
I think they owe it to the Mexican fans that are just huge. I mean, that's a huge part of their fan base to go down and play there. But I think, who knows? But I think that's where they should go next.
Yeah, they can go anywhere, and I think there's going to be anywhere internationally, and there's probably going to be Steelers fans. But yeah, those are still the possibilities. Spain, France, and London. Team. I don't think anybody does. Anybody in Paris watch the NFL? That's an interesting spot, I think.
I'm sure it'll be full, but if I'm thinking of Gay Paris, I'm not thinking of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, I'm thinking of what?
Gay Paris.
All right, go get yourself cleaned up. Go attend your very important luncheon, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks to our friends at Higgins Professional Painting for supporting the show as well. Going to have them over here soon to get some work done at our place. They do a great job. They've done a ton of work at Kaboom's house, making it look pretty. They do interior, exterior. They do commercial and industrial, too. They'll do the color consultation. They'll do the drywall repair. They'll make it look fantastic. They've been doing it for 40 years in the Pittsburgh area. They're happy to do it for you as well. Schedule that free estimate by getting in touch with them at higginsprofessional.com.
It's painting season, too, right?
412-344-0480. Is there a painting season? I didn't realize there was a season.
Like early spring. I would imagine that's where things starts to pick up.
Probably kind of falls in line with like spring cleaning, and everybody wants everything to be fresh and new.
Speaking about business being pick up, I should have just drove up to Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, I mean, how far is it from Indy to Chicago? Like,
can't be that long.
3 hours, maybe.
Oh,
if that.
Let's see. I'm sure somebody on Chicago, 165 miles.
Okay, so 2.5
2 hours and 44 minutes.
Yeah, almost 3 hours exactly. If you run into
that's
traffic.
too long. I didn't think it was that far.
Well, I guess we'll see you back in town this weekend then.
Chicago.
We'll see what's in the box. What's in the box?
It's going to be Danshausen.
What?
AEW.
No.
The problem with that box is it's never going to live up to the hype.
Well, if it's Jericho, it would live up to the hype.
I don't think it's. I mean, then how are we going to explain 4 weeks of a guy in a box? At least Danhausen, you can explain that. The guy from AEW, the old warlord or whatever the hell it is, but he is Punk's guy. It is in Chicago. It makes some sense. But what should be like a whole box of dude wipes?
You would love that, wouldn't you?
I would love it, but other people probably wouldn't think.
A whole crate full of Prime Energy drink.
Wouldn't it be funny if it was like Seth Rollins?
That would be great, but
I don't
why
think
is
it's
that?
going to be a person.
You don't think it's going to be a person?
Here is the new the wrestling cover for 2026.
Oh, that would be so massively disappointing.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard to live up to that box.
Well, it better be good then. We'll be watching it on Saturday night. We'll talk to Yins again early next week. Kaboom will be back from the Combine. We'll talk maybe about what those quarterbacks do on Saturday night and whatever else happens out in Indy. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate your support of the program. Don't forget, that was great work. I want to thank again. It's Vince. Somebody threw in the chat. It's Vince McMahon in the box.
Vince Machin.
Vince Machon. It better be good. It better be really damn good. Thanks again to Bernard for dropping a little in the tip jar today for his Booger McFarland Aaron Rodgers question. Support everybody that supports the program. We appreciate them. Follow on social media, subscribe on YouTube, and we'll talk to you in